Good afternoon, everyone. It's Tuesday, November 3rd, 2009. Some northwest swell in the water right now. It's not a whole heck of a lot. We are looking at, though, some sizable northwest swell that could be headed our way for the weekend. Still some of that on the long-range models, but I wanted to show you how that's all coming together and what that means for what could be some very sizable surf up in Northern California, and still some significant swell that would be hitting Southern California as well. Looks like we are going to be seeing, though, a shift in weather and winds. There's some iffiness in the forecast, as almost always, but especially dealing with some of this cutoff low, a different low up in the Gulf that would be producing our swell, as well as some troughing that would be shifting back and forth between some high pressure. Wanted to show you why all that's a little bit iffy on the models, what we might be expecting as far as wind weather, and also the tides this coming weekend. So this is everything that's going on right now. Starting out looking at what's happening across the Pacific right now, we'll be seeing what will be happening over the next few days. These are some of the new wave analysis models I'm running over at wavecast.com, giving us a good picture of the Pacific. Right now we can see a little bit of activity that's starting to form in around the southern Bering Sea and also across the Aleutians. Doesn't look like much now, but if we start moving the models forward in time, we see a little bit more development. Here, this is just about 12 hours out, 24 hours out. Starting to see more red. That's showing some 18, 20-foot seas. Then that's growing more in size. Look at how that's starting to get a little bit of purple into it, and that's when we're starting to get into the 35, 40-foot sea range. And as we move the models a little bit more forward in time, more toward just about 60 hours out now, we see a lot more deep purple, a lot of 40-foot seas that are forming. That's only to about 1,200 miles or so from Southern California. Angled, though, a little bit steep, and then, of course, looks like the system's going to peak in about 66 hours from now from this model run, and that would be around the 5th at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That would peak up in the Gulf of Alaska. That'd be then throwing us some swell that we'd start seeing filling out a little bit on Friday, but then more so on Saturday. It looks like the peak would be Sunday. We can see this on the wave charts then out of the forecast section over at my site, wavecast.com. This is one of those for the Southern California area. We can see that by Saturday on the 7th, we would be seeing that swell building very nicely. This is a worst-case scenario, showing that even then we'd probably be seeing head-high surf. And then on Sunday, definitely going in the overhead range. Looks like, though, by calculations, this might be underplayed, and we might be seeing double overhead surf by Sunday. Take a look at, though, at the Northern California forecast, and once again, this is another one of the charts generated at wavecast.com. It's a whole other story. Northern California is angled a lot better for this swell. It's coming in at a steep 300-plus angle, about 305 degrees. We can see that it's going to easily probably hit the 25-foot range by Sunday, up for a lot of breaks in Northern California that could pick up that 305-degree angle. So definitely some more powerful surf up there, a little bit smaller, though, in Southern California. But this swell might not have the cleanest of conditions. This is looking at the weather models right now. Even though we see high pressure in blue, that's over our area right now, we see that low pressure system and some troughing in red. It's not necessarily associated with what we'll be seeing out of that swell, but they're both linked to the jet stream and how that's going to play out. If we move the models forward in time, we can see why. A lot of that troughing still moving toward our area. That's going to be expected. Of course, that would bring us a cool down, but it's more of a cutoff low at this point, pinching off, and we can see still that low, a very powerful one building the swell. That's in red, far to the north. As we move the models even more forward in time, we get into the weekend days. We can see, though, another low passing down through the trough, and that could be causing what's known as an inside slider. Once we move the models forward to about Sunday's time frame, that'd be right about here, we see that low really starting to push down towards Southern California. A lot of troughing right over the area. We can see the gradients would be tighter up along the coast. So we might see by by Sunday, definitely some northerly winds. That'd be the peak of the swell, but conditions right now are a little bit iffy because of this weather pattern. Seeing how this all plays out on the wind charts, another wind chart here from wavecast.com under the wind section, we can see that right now not a whole lot's changing as far as the winds are concerned, still somewhat moderate over the next couple of days. We are going to be seeing more of an onshore influence then. Then toward the end of the week, once we get in toward Friday time frame, we can start seeing the winds want to have more of an onshore effect, even more so than by Saturday on the 7th. And then, of course, by Sunday the 8th, which this isn't showing quite yet, we could see even some stronger northerly winds, but got to see how that possible inside slider works out over the next couple days. Besides that, though, we're also dealing with a tidal swing, as we can see at around 8:30 or so this morning. Tide was extremely high, pushing the 7-foot mark here, according to the San Diego, California tide chart, once again generated over at wavecast.com. Lows dipping very negative. It was about -1 foot for a low around 3:30 this afternoon. So we're going to be seeing that to even out a little bit more over the next few days. And by the weekend, the tide should be somewhat more equalized and more neutral, back to more normal levels by then. So we still have a little while to go on the long-range model, still about another couple days or so to really see what happens up in the Gulf. All models that were coming together in agreement on this, they weren't just a couple days ago. Also, just before signing out, just wanted to mention for everyone who's been asking about the links over on my SoCal Surf Report at wetsand.com. I was asked by Wetsand to remove all the links to Swell Scan and also over to Wavecast and also to my Twitter reports, as they felt that was a conflict of interest. But you can still catch my SoCal Surf Report 3 times a week over at Wetsand. Just won't have those links out to here. And I'll be keeping you posted either way. I'll be keeping the Swell Scan posted on a regular basis. You can always sign up for the free email to know when those are updated. And also you can follow me over at twitter.com/wavecast, and of course 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, my free forecasting site, wavecast.com, where these charts and other things were also shown, and you can derive your own forecast and see what's going to be breaking around Southern California. Until next time, take care, be safe, and smile on the lineup.